Hello and welcome once again to another edition of Paul's Cinema Picks of the Week. I'm your gracious host, Paul Westbrook. Today we're going to be doing the Bourne Identity movies, yes. And if you like action-packed movies with a lot of action and maybe a little thought put into it as well, then you got the Bourne movies. Now, Bourne Identity was originally done by Richard Chamberlain, and I unfortunately don't have that version, so I'll be discussing the Matt Damon one. This one here is the first one that Matt Damon did about Jason Bourne. He, to make a long story short, had amnesia. He didn't know who he was, so he has to find out who he is. He realizes that these skills make him a very highly dangerous, lethal fighting machine. And he has to find out the truth behind the government that he worked with, which I guess apparently there's a reason why he just happened to be found in the ocean with 2 bullets stuck in his back. And then when the government realizes that he's after them, even though he doesn't know who the agency he works with or anything like that, they send out assassins and different people to try and kill him so he can not reveal anything. But this is the first adventure here where he gets help, and then he has to find out who he is, and you'll see a lot of action, a lot of fights, and it's definitely a really good version of the story. Bourne Supremacy continues these stories. And once again, Bourne comes back, and there's more action, fights, and not really a lot you can really say about these movies. There's a lot of fights. There's a really good car race through Moscow and Russia, and you get to see a bridge explode, stuff like that, and a lot of blowing up. But it was really well done, and I like the fact that Matt Damon had Julia Stiles in there with him, because she's one of my favorite actresses. And then there's the high-speed chases, and then it all sets into the third film, which was the Bourne Ultimatum. Bourne Ultimatum, he goes back to New York, he finally gets his memory back, and they have an incredibly climatic fight scene at the end where he discovers what the CIA operative group that he's with called Treadstone, that he's been set up, or it's like a setup, so he brings down the whole organization in this one here. This is the epic conclusion. Then we catch up with Jason Bourne later in a movie called Jason Bourne, and now of course he knows who he is, and then they draw him out, and then it's more or less more of the government trying to suppress any information that he has and trying to stop him. But now Jason had been in exile for a while, but then he comes back and he has to fight the agency once again, just to bring it down for good. They made one in between that called The Bourne Legacy, which actually had Jeremy Renner. Matt Damon actually was not in this one. In fact, his character, Jason Bourne's not in this. We have an agent named Aaron Cross, who's played by Renner in this movie, and he's escaped from being executed, and then he has to expose the crime of the superiors, hence the Treadstone Agency, which actually originally brought Bourne out. So it gives you a different approach to the legacy of Bourne, but without actually having him in the movie. So I want to thank you once again for listening to this one where we were discussing the Bourne movies, and see if you can find some of them, and hopefully you'll enjoy them. But for now, this is Paul Westbrook reminding you to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave some comments at the bottom so we can read them, and I'll be seeing you at the movies.